So if you watched the show Euphoria, you know that there was a character on there. I don't remember his character's name, but he was basically the drug dealer. He was Zendaya's character's best friend, Rue's best friend. And he unfortunately passed away from an overdose a couple of years ago. His real name is Angus Cloud. He had red hair. I have the picture here. I don't know what my computer is doing. I don't know why it will not allow me to share this photo with you. I'm trying. Present. Come on. All right, I'm just going to share the entire screen with you. Here. All right. Okay, it's not going to happen. All right, so Angus Cloud. He was the guy with the red hair. He was Rue's best friend. He was like selling drugs, and he had that little brother. He was like 10 years old with tattoos all over his face. If you didn't know, he passed away a couple of years due to an overdose, right? Now, since then, and because he was so young, I'm sure he didn't have his, affairs in order. His mother has been fighting to get his estate settled. Her name is Lisa, and she is also suing someone or fighting a lawsuit from someone named Jonathan Kim. Jonathan Kim claims that he was Angus Cloud's assistant, right? Now, most celebrities, they have assistants, someone who does, the day-to-day stuff that they can't because they're busy with their roles. Jonathan Kim claims that Angus Cloud's estate owes him $310,000. Okay, so apparently he asked Angus's mom in February of 2024, and she was like, "Get out of my face." And then he filed a civil suit. Right now, when you are someone's employee, usually you sign a contract, an employment contract, right? Or there's some type of records saying that you work for this person. Jonathan Kim, according to Angus Cloud's mom, has shown no evidence that there was an employment contract. Also, there was been false evidence. They haven't shown any concrete evidence aside from what Jonathan claims are verbal agreements that he is owed this certain sum of money. He says that he's owed a total of $310,000. I find this number highly suspicious because Angus Cloud, Euphoria was his first role, and he was not an actor. They found him randomly somewhere and cast him, but he was only working for 2 years as an actor. And I remember one of the cast members saying, "The money I make from Euphoria cannot pay all of my bills. Thank God I have these endorsements," right? So Angus, who was not an actor by trade, he was only acting for 2 years. How did he amass a debt of $310,000 to his assistant? Okay. The assistant, who, again, we don't have a written employment contract. We have nothing except your word saying that Angus Cloud's estate owes you over $300,000. Now, Angus's mom is saying, look, his estate is only worth $50,000, right? $50,000 isn't a whole lot of money. So, Jonathan Kim, where are you coming up with $310,000? I don't think Angus Cloud even made $300,000 from filming Euphoria. I don't know how they got paid, but whatever, right? So, aside from the fact that Jonathan Kim has not shown any evidence that there was an actual employment contract or that there were actual, records showing that he was owed money. She said that when he filed the lawsuit against the estate, he filed it too late because there is a 2-year statute of limitations for filing civil suits, right, for unpaid money. And apparently he filed 5 months after that statute of limitations. Okay. Um, Now, as for Jonathan Kim, he is saying that he's not the one who was asking for all of that money. He said that the attorneys who agreed to represent him forced him to ask for that amount of money, or they would not represent him. Apparently, they were threatening him with jail time. I don't know. I really want to know your thoughts about this, right? So whether or not we have to take away three things from here. One, this is why you need written contracts. If Jonathan Kim had handled his business as, Angus Cloud's employee, he would have had something written saying, hey, I'm working for you for, this many hours a week at this rate, something showing that you were his employee. You don't have any of that. So you're going to have to prove that you were his assistant in the first place. This is why it's important to have your contracts in place, right? And the other thing is for him to have said that the attorneys threatened him, right? You went to the attorneys you went to Angus Cloud's mama by yourself and said that you were owed this amount of money. And when she said no thank you, you went and hired attorneys. So what if you weren't asking for this amount of money all along? How much did you ask from the mom in the first place? And again, we have to wonder, how much money did Angus Cloud actually make from Euphoria? How much money was he paying you as his assistant that you can claim $310,000 within 2 years of working for a celebrity? Do you guys know any assistants of celebrities who are making six figures a year, $150,000 a year? Because that's what it amounts to. Now maybe, I don't know, Beyonce's assistant or, the assistants of heads of state are making that much money, but I don't know if, an actor with 2 years of experience under his belt was paying his assistant $150,000 a year. So his mother is, asking the court to dismiss this lawsuit against the estate. She is also asking that Jonathan Kim have to pay her attorney's fee. She's like, look, I'm an old lady. I'm on a fixed income and I have to spend all this money on this lawsuit because this guy is trying to get money from my dead son's estate. So yeah, I hope that they get this resolved sooner rather than later. And it's a really sad thing. So, but the moral of the story here is that if you're going to go after someone and say they owe you money, it's best to have that written down somewhere, because just having your word these days is not good enough. Okay. All right. Let's